All right, everybody, welcome back to Reenactor Talk. We're going to be doing some more of the British kit exploration that we've been doing lately on the channel. This is going to be for a soldier in Aden, Aden Protectorate in the mid to late 60s. If you're not familiar with the Aden conflict, there's a video on YouTube called Soldier in the Sun by BBC. It's made in 1964. It's a very good starting place. There's also books you can look up. There's plenty of them on Amazon. Now, this kit has been taken from photographs of Somerset, Cornwall Light Infantry, as well as the Royal Anglian Regiment during their time there between 64 and 67. So this is a bit of an amalgamation, but we're going to go around. If you want to see a more complete kit with weapon and all, Rifleman Moore has a one-man's kit about the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders in June of 67. That is specifically in Crater City, but this is more Aden as a whole. So, without further ado, we will get started, but I will make one caveat here, a little bit of a note. Parachute Regiment, Royal Marines, and from the photos I've been able to gather online, the Somerset Cornwall Light Infantry, they tended to wear their berets. Royal Anglians tend to wear the bush hat, which we will get to. Now, I don't have a cap badge for Somerset Cornwall Light Infantry, but suffice to say it's a light infantry beret, dark green. That's perfectly fine. If you can find a cap badge, great. If not, no big deal. There's plenty of other units to choose from. So without that, let's get started. We're going to go sort of top down. I'll explain everything. So at the top here, we have two sets of headwear. Again, we have the bush hat, pretty ubiquitous at this time. This one's based off of the 44 pattern jungle hat. This is made by K Canvas. You can buy these at Soldier of Fortune. Good reproductions. This is the What Price Glory reproduction cap comforter. So they don't go to a dark green cap comforter till about the 70s. So these World War II era ones are still good, and you still see them being worn. There is a photograph of a dog handler in the Royal Anglian Regiment with his Alsatian. He's actually wearing one of those with a sterling at his side and the Alsatians on his left. So moving down, we're going to go to the shirt here. I've badged this up for a sergeant in the unit I'm portraying, because that's what's been assigned to me for what we normally do. So this shirt is a reproduction from What Price Glory. It's the post-war Airtex desert tropical shirt. The buttons aren't exactly the same as the shirt buttons that you see on other original garments, but other than that, it's a solid reproduction. It holds up well. It's still Airtex. Now I'm going to pull out the alternative to this and just lay it over the kit. So if you've seen the other video just talking about British service shirts, you will have seen this. This is an original 51 pattern service shirt made in 1952. It's badged up for a corporal. That's must have been who had it last, a corporal. I don't know what unit he came from, but there are pictures from Aden, and you can tell just by the contrast in colors. You can tell right here, the contrast in the color there. Men are wearing these. So this is an alternative for when it's not terribly hot, but I wouldn't recommend it. But they were worn, and they are an option. So moving over to leg wear, the post-war trousers with a bandage in the bandage pocket. That's just a World War II dressing in there just to fill it out. Pocket, closures, button fly, nothing special. What Price Glory reproductions. Footwear, we have ubiquitous DMS boots. These are originals, and these are the ones I wear a lot. They're actually fairly comfortable, although I'm only ever in them short periods of time, so take that with a grain of salt. The puttees as well. Now, this is going to be a little odd because now we're on to belt kit, and belt kit is definitely up to the unit. It's also based on what you're doing. So a lot of the photos I've referenced from SCLI, you don't see a whole lot of the webbing yoke being worn unless they're on patrol outside in Aden itself and not in Crater City. So I've included it up here just for the sake of completeness, but a lot of the photos I've seen, it's just a regular belt order like this. Ammunition pouches. This would actually need to be a first pattern water bottle pouch more than likely. I don't have one right now, so excuse that. It's just standing in. Kidney pouches, right side ammo pouch. And obviously this is going to depend on what you're doing and what the mission is for the day. So this is just a general setup. It's not going to be specific for June 13th, 1967, let's say. But you have your SLR mags in here. These are actually in metric pattern stand-ins, but they fit in there. And it's a full pouch. For reenacting, you never want to have an empty pouch. So, bandage in there. Stuffed tissues in there for all I care. But it's better to not look empty, especially when it comes to stuff like this. Clothing, it's a little more forgivable, but definitely belt order, anything on your belt, you do not want it to be empty. So, got my mess tin and something soft to put it against my kidneys. I can't remember what I put in there. I just have some small kit in here, just some socks and some skivvies. I'm building out a wash roll right now. 58 pattern water bottle. You do see 44 pattern used as well. I don't have a cup for this, but I have a cup for the 44 pattern. And I've put skivvies in this one to fill it out. I only have enough SLR mags to fill one pouch, but I am also on the hunt for a bayonet and a frog as well. So that'll be filled out soon here. But that's your basic kit for a soldier in Aden, especially for Somerset, Cornwall, Light Infantry, and the Royal Anglian Regiment. Like I said, this is more of a conglomeration than a specific unit loadout. And that's because I've taken it from several photographs online. These photographs are likely taken at different dates. They're obviously of different units. So take this with a grain of salt. Make sure you know what your unit is wearing. If you're portraying a unit that's in Aden, 4 or 5 Commando Royal Marine is in Aden. They are fairly well documented, as are troops of the Parachute Regiment, as are Somerset, Cornwall, Light Infantry, and then everyone's favorite, the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders under Colonel Mitchell. Colonel Mitchell probably did one of the most daring feats since the Second World War until the Falklands War. As far as the British Army is concerned, he blatantly disregarded what his superiors said and marched right into Crater City. That's a bit of a simplified version of it, but there's better explanations out there. But very daring. Hardly a shot was fired. The Argylls recontrolled Crater City and reasserted British dominance over the NLF and Flossie. So this video is not to explain what the liberation movements are at the time, so you're going to have to do that. But Soldier in the Sun does touch on them. There is a more modern BBC documentary for the End of Empire series on Aden called Mad Mitch and His Tribal Law. It's a little slanderous, but it's not bad. It gives some background on Flossie and NLF. But it only really focuses on Mitchell and the Argylls. It does not focus on anyone else. Nothing before 1967, really. So do your research. Make sure you know what your unit wore. So this is the best amalgamation for the pictures I've been able to find online of the 2 units I've looked up. Not a whole lot of them online for whatever reason. Probably copyright issues, I'm guessing. But this is Reenactor Talk signing off. Keep that bayonet sharp and the powder dry.